walking with my swollen foot on the beach. I'm super dedicated to making this video. Welcome back, or just welcome if you're new here. I'm Carmen Fourie. I'm just going to quickly film this introduction at the sea. How beautiful, based on the topic that we're doing today. Generally it's a little more blue. We've got a red tide going on, so it's not as blue as it usually is. And also I'm going to get home to film the rest of this video. I was actually going to film it on the beach, but I just stepped on a bee, so my foot hurts and it's swollen. So I'm going to go tend to that. We're back. I think putting my foot in the salty seawater was super helpful because it doesn't hurt at all. It's mildly swollen, but it doesn't hurt. So let's get on to today's topic. But before we do that, it's just very important for me. I'm going to put my disclaimer in place. I share my experience, but my skin, my body, my circumstance is not yours. So please take what serves you and leave what doesn't serve you. So let's get straight into it. I'm going to say something that I usually don't share because I don't really share the negative things or kind of fear-based things to convince people to go natural or eco or I don't like to see those posts, so I don't make those posts myself, and I think that people just need to decide what they want to do themselves. But I feel the need to share this information so that you can look into it further and just make the best decision for you. So I use all natural or eco-friendly or sustainable products, and I have been doing so for 3 years or so now. Some of the products, I won't be fussy if conventional products touch my skin, or if I use it once off or every now and again, I'm okay with that. However, there are some products that are big no-nos for me. Conventional sunscreen is one of those that's a big no-no for me. It's one of those products where I will literally just have nothing on my skin rather than putting conventional sunscreen on my skin. The first reason for that is that most or many conventional sunscreens contain certain ingredients that even in a very, very small amount causes substantial damage to the life in the ocean. And from an eco perspective, I'm just not comfortable that my beach visits are contributing to this kind of damage. This is the same reason why certain ingredients in some sunscreens are banned in some places, but it's not banned in all places, and people don't actually often know about this. I also think that because we're just using it on our bodies and we're so little compared to the ocean that it's not going to do damage, but I will implore you to kind of Google how a little bit of sunscreen can do quite a lot of damage. The second reason is a much more personal to me reason, a health one. I am big on hormonal health, and with sunscreen is one of those products where there's just a host of ingredients that are often in there that are disruptive to hormones. Super quick story. So my mom actually purchased a conventional sunscreen, but she got the one for children because the assumption being that if a product is for children and children's skin, then it's probably a little bit more safe. And when I told her about today's topic, she ran that product through her app. This app actually just looks at the different ingredients and kind of ranks like how high risk they are. And this product that is made for children's skin received a 0 out of 100 as a health rating. And that for me is super concerning. She sent me a screenshot of the ingredients and it was just like high risk, endocrine disruptor. And the craziest thing was that the third ingredient was flagged as super high risk and explicitly said there that this is a high risk for everybody. It's an endocrine disruptor and should not be used in products for children. And this was a product for children. Unfortunately, this app is not available or doesn't work in South Africa, but I'm gonna link it down below for anybody in a different country watching this. Maybe it works in your country. And this was just a reminder for me how, because when something's sold in a shop, we just assume that it is safe for use. And we just assume that if it says for children, that it's completely safe to use on children. But if you are particular about ingredients and like me, really big on hormonal health, then you might want to look into the ingredients. And sunscreen is one of those where it's just, there's a lot. And then a thought that I had was the reason that we use sunscreen is to protect our skin from any damage that can be caused by the sun. But if the product that we're using to protect ourselves from damage is causing damage, so I don't think it's as visible, like sun damage is quite visible, whereas hormonal disruptions and things like that don't necessarily have visible symptoms, at least not in the beginning. So we don't know. But just food for thought is if the product that we're using to protect ourselves is doing a different kind of harm, then is the use of that product really worth it? I've shared with you why I will rather wear nothing than put conventional sunscreen on my body or use it or swim with it in the ocean or any kind of natural water. So let me not leave you without a solution, and let's get to what I want to talk about today, which is what can you do? What are your natural alternatives to conventional sunscreen? All right, so I have used these different natural sunscreens and some more that I don't remember. First things first, I find that they spread the same as conventional sunscreen. I didn't find that to be particularly different. It might vary from product to product, but it was not unique to them being natural products. The one thing that I do think differs, on conventional sunscreens, you'll always see the SPF, the sun protection factor. That's what it stands for. But this is not the case with all natural products, depending on how homemadey they are or how kind of from a very small business they are, they might not have the SPF number on them. That is not to say natural products don't have an SPF. Particularly my main two, so these are the main two that I use, this one for my face, this one for my body. Both of these have an SPF of 30. This one actually is for children, but I like it. Babies and children. Of all of the natural sunscreens that I use, I think there was only one where I was like, yeah, no, I don't think this is doing anything. But it might have just been me, or I might have just spent too much time in the sun, so I'm not gonna name and shame the product. So these have been my two main body sunscreens that I've used probably from the beginning of my natural journey. And I really like them until today. I still purchase them when they are finished, and yeah, they're great. But I found that using either of these on my face was not nice, and I have an oily face, so when I use these products I would get breakouts, and that's why I purchased this sunscreen from the same company that makes my face range. So because I do wear makeup when I go to work, not that I work in the sun, my foundation is a sustainable and natural and organic one, and it has SPF 30. Problem solved there, I don't have to put sunscreen and foundation. If you do watch YouTube videos about sunscreen, you will see that there's two different types. The one is chemical sunscreen and the one is called a physical sunscreen. All of the products that I've showed you are what you deem physical sunscreens. They are a physical barrier between the sun and your skin. It probably goes without saying, it's a big no-no for me on the chemical ones. Just big no-no. To be honest, I can't tell you whether the natural sunscreens work the same as conventional sunscreens, because I've not done like a half and half and then gone and lain in the sun to see whether or not they work the same. But what I can tell you is they work fine enough for me to use them, and I'm definitely not going to use conventional sunscreens. I'm very happy with just using the natural sunscreen. And if I do want a greater protection for my skin, or I'm going to stay in the sun longer than what I kind of deem the amount of time that I want to expose my skin to the sun, then I will firstly wear a hat. This will keep the sun at least off of my face, and depending on the hat, my shoulder. The second thing that I will do is I always take like a very light piece of material thing that I can just throw over my shoulders when it, or my legs or whatever it is, when it's just getting too much. So I generally cover up the parts of me when I feel like they've spent too much time in the sun. But I don't only do this when it's been too much time in the sun. So I do have quite large breasts, and when the sun is going on them, my chest tends to burn more or get more sun than everything else. And it kind of, through the years, I've noticed that the skin was damaging. and then it would form like a shadow and my stomach would always be very pale. Now you see, I'll put a picture up, but I mostly wear costumes that cover up my chest areas, not because I'm embarrassed by my boobs, it's because I don't want my chest to get any more sun damage. Then number 3 is an umbrella. And number 4 is I get out the sun. All right, I know the whole getting out the sun thing or covering up is always easier said than done. And definitely I have had times where I really should have got out the sun and then didn't, and I just burnt really, really badly. So one of them is when Ian and I did yoga on the beach and I wore a really tiny costume. My butt was so burned. It was so painful to sit down, like really painful. I wish that I could show you a picture, but I think YouTube is gonna flag me for inappropriate content if I do that. Talking about my bum burn brings us to part 2 of this video, which is natural remedies for when you do get sunburned. What to do to offer some instant relief when you're just really uncomfortable and it's both itchy and sore, and you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. Unless you don't, then in that case, amazing if you've never been sunburned. And then also what to do to kind of minimize the damage that was done by the burn. First and most favorite one, when I did burn my butt so badly, my cousin was amazing. She went, there were aloe trees super close by. She cut one of the, I think you just call them leaves, branches. You cut it off to place it a little down so that the yellow liquid can run out of it. And when that yellow liquid has gone out, you cut off the skin and you cut it into nice little squares and you rub that straight on the sunburn. That which is left, we put in a Tupperware in the fridge, and then every couple of hours it was cold and also just so soothing. So that's aloe straight onto your body. Second thing that I do, this is to offer some relief, but it's mostly to promote the healing of my skin. I will take natural body moisturizer and then I will have vitamin E. Sometimes I purchase vitamin E as drops or as capsules, depending which one I can find. Vitamin E is very viscous and it's very sticky, so it's so difficult to just rub it straight on your skin. So then I will use my normal moisturizer, put that on, or coconut oil is fine too. But yeah, I put this and then vitamin E and I rub that all over the burn. Another thing that I found is super great and random. A while back, I burnt my hand really badly under super boiling water. And I had this, it was a gift. It's an all-purpose balm from Lush. Now, Lush's products usually have a lot of fragrance or a lot of colorants in them. This is probably the most plain but amazing product from Lush I have ever come across. It has 3 ingredients. Jojoba oil, because I now know how to pronounce that, candela wax, and rose wax. Those are the only 3 ingredients. So I put that on my hand when it burned so badly and it didn't scar, or you can't even see where it is anymore. So I'm actually really liking this all-purpose balm. And the other thing I did that is like really random, but it was recommended to me by somebody on Instagram and I tried it. I took organic rooibos tea and I added that to my bath, like quite a lot. It doesn't look great because it goes like a tea color, but it was really soothing. And I don't know whether it was physically or just like a placebo effect, but I found that that was actually quite a nice thing to do. And the things that I've suggested now, they are not different things that I would try. Those are all of the 3 things that I do if I get sunburned. I use aloe, I do take a bath in organic rooibos tea water, and then I do put my moisturizer and my vitamin E on, and I do so continuously until the skin has healed properly. And that brings us to the end of today's video. I hope that you found this information helpful. And if you do have any other natural remedies to use for a sunburn, please comment down below. I'd be super interested. And then I'm gonna see you next week with another switch to the natural, eco, or sustainable version of a personal care product. So let me know what category you really wanna see next week or in the weeks thereafter, and I look forward to bringing you that content. Please remember that it is helpful for me if you like and subscribe to my channel.